So this morning, while I'm still in my dressing gown, this morning while having a cup of coffee, I checked my Reiki box because we've still got one name in there, and my crystal was allowed to come out of the box. But today, Raphael's had to go in for further healing on this person. So anyway, using this crystal, I've always just referred to it as crystal. It's a seven chakra healing crystal. But I use charts to see who am I direct contact with, and this is in direct contact with the source of all. Apparently, it just kept going, divine, love and light, divine. So I asked for a personal message for me this morning. Now I've been going through this, people call it awakening, over the last year or so. I've always had something since being very small, but was always afraid of it, scared of it, and tried to avoid it. And I think this lockdown period, it's kind of brought it to the fore. And everything I was afraid of, I'm no longer afraid of. Even down to little things like the dark. I was terrified of the dark. In my home now, I sleep with no lights on. If I feel a presence, I ask what's needed rather than F off, I'm scared, which is usually my response. So anyway, I asked the divine this morning for a personal message because I felt I do needed guidance, because a lot of things I've been looked at, I feel like angels already guide me, because every video I've watched on YouTube relating to different religions, different spiritual things, what I've been drawn to has all been connected to what my own pendulums have been giving me in messages for months. And you can't poo-poo that. It's more than a coincidence, that. So this is my message today. Raslam finds meaning for God. Now, I find out that Raslam is white light language, and Raslam means prayer. So prayer finds meaning for God. Yoda Oculan puts God's children first and last. Again, Yoda Oculan, I queried. This is again white light language, and it means Earth's angels. Earth angels, that's what I've got there. White light language of God's angels. That's what that is. Mad, isn't it? And then I asked, because everything's pointing to me going into the healing hands, I asked for direction on that and mentioned my group and what should this be called? Apparently I'm going to be building an empire. What should this be called? So it said, familiar friends of the universal accord. Familiar friends of the universal accord. And I believe that to be familiar friends, as in not necessarily people we've already met, but familiar in the sense that knowing. Pardon me. My kids can testify this. I meet people and I get a sense straight away of that person's energy and soul and just a whole thing. I've never been able to understand it. I'm learning more and more and more. Just because you have these things and you're told you have these things doesn't mean you understand them or know how to use them. And this is my journey. So the business that I set up in healing is related to white light, light work, energy healing. And it says, I asked what my mission was, and it said, healing others. Keeper of knowledge, you are gifted with an empathic mind, loving nature, and compassionate heart, and man recognizes soul in you. Believe in yourself. Others adorn ego and manifest for selfish reasons. So this is the message I've been getting, and using a letterboard, something I didn't want to do in the beginning, but I've come to peace with that. I've come to peace with the Lord, and I always check who I'm speaking with first, and then literally try and keep my mind as blank as possible, just concentrating on the letters they've already given, so they know where they are, ready to give the next. And then lo and behold, when you're finished, you've actually got a coherent message. Obviously, Raslam, Yoda, occult. I'm thinking, what is this? What's this meant to say? But then when you clarify that and ask the question, what does this mean? What is Raslam? And when I asked, what is Raslam, it followed the letters to prayer. So that gives me, prayer finds meaning. What language is this, I ask? White, light language, the language of God's angels. Now, people who've known me will say, she's talking about God as if she's like a God worshipper and stuff. And they know that I didn't practice my religion. I was born and raised a Catholic and went to church every Sunday. I sang in a church choir. I sang in a school choir. Literally was raised that way. But I turned against that because I didn't understand it. It didn't resonate with me at all, anything in there. And I look at the Bible as fantastic stories, lovely stories and things that generally did happen, some of these. But a story nonetheless. I knew there was something more. So I used to joke saying I belong to the Church of Chrissy, and that's just do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In other words, be kind. Be kind. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. So I'm coming to using the word God and everything now. And just to clarify that word, I asked the pendulum to spell out, is this God in the sense of religion? No. Is this God a sense of the whole of one? Yes. Is God the universe? Yes. We are all part of that universe. Yes. We are all God. Yes. We are all pieces of the same whole. And that whole generates from the sun. We get our energy from that warm, light, energetic ball. Think of it as the heartbeat of God, the heartbeat of all of us. We gravitate towards the sun as planets. We revolve around the sun. The sun gives us life. The sun and everything in the universe is God. We are all part of that whole. We just have to remember that and live the best we can for the highest good of all.